everyone, and sorry Ate Ganda for late upload. Busy lang po talaga ako. Good evening, Assalamualaikum, Fia Butang, and magandang gabi sa lahat. His Runaway Wife, Chapter 21. I've been waiting... Sorry. His Runaway Wife, Chapter 21. I stared at the road ahead of me as I pushed down the accelerator with my foot. I felt a weird sense of relief knowing that I was heading back home. Of course, I felt a bit sad to leave Damian as well. Please promise me you're not going to disappear, Damian had asked earlier this morning as we said goodbye. Alexa was already waiting inside the car, waiting impatiently. Damian had his arms around my waist. I smiled up at him. I promise I'm not going to disappear. He kissed me hard before he finally let me go. I love you. Be careful. I will, I said, and then pressed my lips on his. I love you too. Call me, okay? He grinned every day. I smiled and hesitated before finally getting in the car. I waved at both Damian and Aaron as I drove away. There was a sadness in Damian's eyes that I could not make go away as he waved back. I could tell he didn't fully believe I would not disappear again. I didn't blame him. I know that only time would give me the opportunity to gain his full unconditional trust. I had already convinced myself all night that I will be back, no matter what Marianne thinks of me and no matter how much she hates me. I wanted to be with Damian and she was not going to keep me away. Not as long as Damian wanted me by his side. Alexa had her eyes closed as she listening to music, so I turned on the radio for some background music. There was something so relaxing about driving with music and I loved. I was probably one of the few that actually enjoyed driving long distances, as long as it was not at night. Of course, mostly because I know I would fall asleep for sure. The drive back to Nevada goes by smoothly and it actually goes by faster than when we were on our way to California. It is around 3 in the afternoon when I pull into the driveway of the house. Home is in good shape, thank God. There were a few leaves on the grass and sidewalk, but other than that, it was all good. I had been skeptical about leaving the house empty for the weekend. Little did I know that I was going to end up leaving it alone for a whole week. It was not that it was a bad neighborhood. I was actually friendly with my neighbors. It was just me being precautious. I'm so tired, Alexa said as we walked into the house. I'm going to my room. I looked after her, wondering why she was so tired if she had slept for most of the way. She disappeared down the hall into her room. Sorry. It was not a big house, just a normal size 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house for Alexa and I. This house made me a home buyer and I found myself feeling a bit sad that I had to sell it. Maybe I didn't have to, maybe I could rent it. Who knew? I could have it as a backup. Maybe Alexa wanted to come back. Maybe I would in the future. After checking out the house to make sure there were not any broken windows or missing things, I go to the laundry room and throw the clothes into the machine. I called Damian as I made my way to my room. I smiled as I threw myself on the bed. God, it felt so good to be back. Rebecca, everything's alright? Damian answered. Yes, everything's alright. I laughed. You can't freak out every time I call you. I just wanted to let you know that we're home. I will always worry about you," he said, and I could hear the smile in his voice. "I'm glad you're home." I heard some background noises on his side of the line. "Listen, I'm so sorry, but I'm at work and I have to go. I'll call you tonight." "Okay," I said with a nod. "Bye." I stared at the ceiling and thought about how the last time I was on this bed, I was the old Rebecca that blocked any slight thought about Damian. If I were to tell that Rebecca that in a week I would be back with Damian, I would not have believed it. I put my left hand up in front of me. The ring was my back on my fourth finger. "Julian," I signed that. I then reached for my phone again. I dialed Julian, but it went to voicemail. Second later, he called me back. "Hey," I answered. "Hey, Rebecca, sorry I was not able to take your call. I was going through security in the airport." I sit up. "Oh, it's okay, you're traveling." "Yes, it's for work. I'll be in New Mexico all week." I felt both relief and disappointed. It seems like this conversation was going to have to wait. I was not about to drop this bomb over the phone. He didn't deserve that, and it would not feel right doing that. "Oh, okay, well, I'm back in Nevada and I just wanted to see if we could meet, but it can't wait. It can wait." Yeah, I'm so sorry. Bad timing." "It's okay, it can wait," I repeated. It could wait. I really didn't want to have this conversation over the phone. There was nothing I could do but wait until came back. "I'll let you go then," I said quickly. "Have a safe trip." "All right, see you soon. Bye." I began to think about what I'm going to say to him when I see him. Then after I'm all stressed about it, I forced the thoughts out of my head and did some cleaning around the dusty house instead. I washed sheets, mats, towels, and cleaned everything until the musty smell was gone from the house. The only room left was Alexa, but she was sleeping and I didn't want to wake her. I felt genuinely happy to be back home, though I did miss Damian. The next morning, Alexa had to school and I to work. We were back to our old routines. It was so crazy to think about how we had only been gone for a week when it felt like so many things had happened in that week. My life was not the same. I was not the same Rebecca I was last Monday. I was the first one to arrive at the bank, mostly because I was early. I had left the house 30 minutes earlier to stop for donuts for the brunch. I smiled as I sat down at my desk. The bank was small. There were four teller windows with an open space in the middle for customers to get in line. There was a waiting area and four desks on each side of the waiting space. Two were occupied by the bankers, the other desk by the assistant manager, and the fourth by me. I enjoyed my job as a manager, and I found myself feeling a bit sad because I knew my time here was coming to an end. Good morning. Sorry. Sorry, guys. "It's so good to see you, Rebecca," Bonnie, the assistant manager of the bank, said when she saw me as she reached out to hug me. Bonnie and I worked great together. She had to be the closest thing I had to a friend here in Nevada. We had never hung out of work, so that was saying a lot about my social circle here. "Hey, Bonnie, thank you. It's good to see you too. How was your vacation?" she said as her brown eyes roamed all over me. "You look great. Did you cut your hair?" I shook my head as I touched my hair without thinking. "No, I didn't. I guess I'm just well rested." Then her face made a shocked expression. "Oh my God, did Julian propose?" she said as she reached for my left hand. "He mentioned he was thinking about doing it, but I didn't know when." "Oh my God, congrats." "What?" he was going to propose? She frowned. Yeah, he let it slip the last time he was here. But why are you so confused? Oh God, but we've only been seeing each other for 3 months, I murmured. What was Julian thinking? Had a misinterpreted our relationship, this whole time. I thought we were just casual. We were barely getting to know each other as more than friends. Why in the world would he be thinking about marriage already? He didn't even know me. Bonnie nodded. I know, I told him it might be too soon, but I guess he ended up doing it, huh? And you said yes. I finally looked at her as she waited for my answer. Oh, Bonnie, no. I haven't seen Julian since last week when we had our third date. I signed. There's something you didn't know about me. I am actually married. I've been married all this time, since you met me. Her mouth hangs open. What? I nodded. I've been married for the past 4 years. I left my husband 3 years ago when my mom died. I came here to care for my sister and I never went back with him. This week, we sort of got back together. I had practically filled her into my whole life story. What I had not told her in the last few years, I was telling her now. Maybe this would have been a little easier if I would have developed an actual friendship with everyone here. She covered her mouth with her fingertips as she looked at me with wide eyes. Wow, I can't believe it. Does Julian know? I shook my head, feeling ashamed. No, I wanted to tell him yesterday when I got here, but he told me he was in business trip and is not coming back until next week. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to make you feel bad. It's just poor guy. She didn't mean to make me feel bad, but I was feeling 100 times worse than I felt before. And if this was how I felt after telling one person, I knew I didn't want to feel this way every time. I began to pull my wedding ring out of my finger. Anyway, I think I'd like to keep this a secret until I tell Julian at least. Bonnie nodded as she understood what I was asking her. Of course, she smiled. I'm sorry, I just can't believe you're married. What his name? Damian, I said with a smile. Is he from California then? What does he do? Before I could answer, the doors opened and Ingrid, one of the bankers, along with our morning teller, came in. They both greeted me with friendly smiles as I clutched the ring in my hand. We're going to have to continue this later, Bonnie said quietly with a wink. I smiled, wishing that I would have hung out with her more often. I felt like we could have become really good friends if I had been a little more open. Thank you, Bonnie. She nodded, then turned and headed to her desk across from mine. There are donuts in the break room, I announced to everyone. Chapter 22, His Runaway Wife. That week seems to take forever. It was like the world was punishing me for the great week I had before. It was not that anything bad happened. No. It was that I could not wait for Julian to come back from his trip so that I could talk to him. What Bonnie told me really concerned me, and I wanted to make things clear with him. I didn't care as much that I would hurt him because I was a little angry at him for making assumptions and talking about proposing after only 3 months of dating me. It was finally Saturday and Julian had agreed to come to my house for dinner tonight. I spent the afternoon going grocery shopping, making up a million ways the conversation with Julian could go tonight in my head. Hey, Alexa said as I walked into the house. Need help? She asked, looking the grocery bags in my hands. Yes, please. You okay? She asked as we went back to the car to get the rest of the bugs. Yeah, just nervous about tonight. We made our way back into the house with the rest of the grocery bags. Don't you want me to stay instead? Alexa asked. I could stay in my room and I won't make any noise, I promise. I had told Alexa that Julian was coming tonight and had asked her for some privacy. She already had plans to go out anyway, so it worked out easily. I half smiled at her. No, it's okay. You go out with your friends. I need to do this myself. Okay, she signed. Do you really need to make him dinner, Dom? I'm pretty sure his appetite is going to be gone after you tell him. I look at Alexa. Well, I want to do something nice and I didn't really want to just dive in right away. Does Damian know that you're seeing Julian tonight? Of course not. Why would I tell him? It would just make him worry for nothing. No, I'm just going to have this dinner and have to the talk and then everything will be over. Alexa shrugged. If you say so. She helped me put away the groceries, then she went to get ready while I began to make dinner. I was making pasta Alfredo with shrimp. I've cooked this for Julian and he really liked it. I also baked some garlic bread and chilled a bottle of wine. I knew I was going to need it. It was around 6 when I finally had everything ready and I headed to my room to take a shower. I put on a blue dress that went down to my knees with black heels and blow dry my hair. I applied some mascara and some red lipstick. Then I went back downstairs to set the table. I'm heading out, Alexa said as she walked down the stairs a moment later. Okay, the keys are by the door. Be careful. Good luck, she said as she walked out the door. I stood in the middle of the living room and took a deep breath. This was it. Julian would be here any moment. I had played the conversation in my head about a million times by now and I was ready to get it over with, but when the doorbell finally rang, my heart still skipped a beat. My heels echoed as I walked down the hall to open the door. Okay, I whispered before I unlocked the door, then pulled it open. Julian was standing on the other side, wearing a big smile on his face. Julian was a very handsome man. He had short black hair with two big hazel eyes. He had one of those smiles that made you want to smile back even if you were mad or even if you were about to break up with him. He was wearing dark jeans with a red plaid shirt and black shoes. Rebecca, he said as he reached out to hug me. It's so good to finally see you. He kissed my cheek, then pulled away. I smiled at him. It's so good to see you too. Come in. He took a step into the house, then turned around. These are for you, he said, handing me a dozen red roses. Oh, Julian, you should not have. Thank you, I said as I took them. Come, dinner's ready. I made my way to the kitchen. The dining table was set with a silverware and I took out an empty glass vase to put the roses in with water. Sit down, please. I'll serve dinner. So, how was California? Sorry guys. So, how was California? He asked as I served us dinner. I was grateful for the distraction in keeping my hands busy. Good, it was fun. Alexa finally got to go to Disneyland. You know how bad she wanted to go. Julian chuckled. Oh yeah, I'm glad she finally got to go. I hope it was everything she ever wanted. Minus the accident, yes, right. How is she? Did she break her arm? No, just a fracture. She had to get a cast, but she'll be fine, I said as I headed to the table with our plates. Looks delicious, Julian said. He reached for my hand after I sat down in front of him. I looked at him in wonder. I really did miss you, Rebecca, he said, looking into my eyes. I looked down. I thought we could have dinner before I told him, but I realized there that was not going to happen. I was not going to be able to sit through dinner and pretend that everything was fine and then drop the bomb at the end. It was not unfair for neither of us. I pulled my hand gently. Julian, there's something we need to talk about. What is it? He asked, looking at me. As if trying to read my mind. I wished he could. I looked at him. Did you tell Bonnie that you were already thinking about proposing? I knew he would be able to tell that I didn't like that by the tone of my voice, but I didn't make myself say it another way. I was really bothered that he had done that. He chuckled nervously. Oh, that it was just a silly conversation. I know we're barely getting to know each other. Don't worry, I don't have a ring hidden on me right now. He joked, but I didn't laugh. Julian, I shifted uncomfortably in my seat. Rebecca, you don't have to worry about that. I should not have made that comment, though I would be lying if I said I had not thought about it. Right now, it may be too soon, but later, when the time is right, I would like to get married. He let the sentence hang between us. I'm so sorry, I whispered, looking down at my lap. He reached out and placed his hand on my shoulder. Is there something wrong? I tucked a strand of my hair behind my ear as I looked into his eyes, and I gulped. I haven't been completely honest with you, Julian. There's something about me that you don't know. I'm just sorry I have led you on. Rebecca, it's okay. You haven't led me on. I know we are casual right now, he said gently, but there was a frown in between his eyes. I had a life in California before coming here, I began. Yes, I know you went to school there, he said, reaching for the glass of wine. Mirroring him, I also took a sip of the wine. God knew I needed it. Yes, I hesitated as I twisted the glass of wine around on the table. Just say whatever you need to say, Julian said. His tone was not rude, but I could tell that he was getting impatient. I didn't just go to school, I said, looking at him. I also got married. Julian nodded slowly. Okay, I still am, I told him. I'm married. He frowned. I don't understand. So you never got a divorce? No, I said. I left my husband 3 years ago when my mother passed away. I I ran away from him. Saying it aloud made me realize how childish my behavior had been. There were times when I thought about everything I went through with Damian's mom that convinced me that I made the right choice by running away. And then there were the days like tonight when I said it aloud to someone who didn't know the reason behind it. I was not sure that I wanted to go into the detail with Julian. I didn't think it was necessary deep down. I thought he would not care anyway after I told him that I was getting back together with Damian. You ran away from your husband. I knew that I did, yes. He raised his brown eyebrows as he looked at me with concern. It must have been hell, hell living with him. What did he do to you? Did he hurt you? I could tell he really was concerned for me, which made me feel even more guilty. I needed to get to the point quickly. Before I could answer his question, though, the doorbell rang. I frowned as I turned to look at the front door as if I could see through it. I'm sorry, I said as I stood up. I'm not expecting anyone. Will you give me a second? Of course, Julian said. I walked across the dining room just as the doorbell rang again. As I reached out for the doorknob, I had a gut feeling that I knew who it was, but I still pulled it open and my stomach dropped. Standing outside was the man wearing a gray suit with a white dress shirt underneath. He was holding a bouquet, sorry, wait, of colorful flowers with one hand and small gift bag with his other. Hey, he said with a goofy grin on his handsome face like a little boy doing a mischief. Damian, I breathed. What are you doing here? I said, pulling the front door closed as I stepped outside. I wanted to surprise you, he said, and frowned as he studied my face. Is it not a good time? I'm sorry, I said, feeling bad for killing his surprise. I wish I had been alone in the house. Missing him, it would have been the best surprise to open the door and see him here if that were the case, but it was not. It was bad timing. I was actually just then the front door opened and Julian appeared at the doorway behind me. Rebecca. I noticed the way Damian's shoulders tensed at the sight of him, as if he knew who he was. I didn't know what to say for a second. I was happy to see Damian, but at the same time, I wanted to finish my conversation with Julian, who thought that Damian was. Is this him? Julian asked, pointing at Damian. Is he bothering you? Who the hell do you think you are, pal? Damian demanded, glaring at him. Julian took a step forward, getting in between Damian and I. I'm here to protect Rebecca from you. Julian, please. I shook out nervously. Damian huffed. I don't know who you think you are, but I would get out of the way if I were you. Or what? Everything happened so quickly, then Damian took a step forward. In response, Julian pushed him away. Over Julian's shoulder, I watched as Damian glared at Julian and then he threw the flowers on the ground before throwing his fist right across Julian's jaw. So, may ako na ituloy yung chapter 23, guys, kasi may gagawin lang ako. And hi Ate Ganda, sorry ulit sa late upload and thank you for watching. Anyway, ginagawa ko lang to kung naririnig mo Ate Ganda, maingay, sorry. Wala, ginagawa ko lang to kasi gusto ko lang gawin and wala lang talaga akong magawa. So, please subscribe, like, share, or whatsoever, comment sa aking YouTube channel. And thank you. Someone's coming. So, thank you everyone. Good night. Babalik po ako.